Yep, it's that time of the week again, Jelly Dwellies. Yep, I'm going to be sitting here for 2 hours and you're going to be wanting feeding the whole time. I know. You should be used to it by now. It's been going on for years. Huh? Yeah. I've got no idea how many of these I've done now. But we better get to the intro, should we? You reckon? We'll have a burp first. Maybe a couple. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hello, 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 and welcome. Greetings, salutations, ahoy, all the other various random greetings from around the world. Whichever language is your native, I'm sorry if I missed you out, but I'm not smart enough or got good enough memory to remember them all, so yeah, we do a few. Hello, replay crew. Thanks. Yeah, it's thankfully it's been a fairly dull and uneventful week, which is kind of what I needed after last week. I was thinking of going for a bike ride on Thursday, but then it piddled down rain all day, so that didn't happen. And as does happen when you had a plan that was going to take a good chunk of the day that doesn't come to fruition, yeah, you tend to spend money. Admittedly, mostly on things that I actually needed. Well, actually all on things I needed. More algae wafers, new pedals for the bike, and a new pair of shoes to wear when cycling as well. Not cycling shoes. We might get into that a bit later. My thoughts on that matter. Yeah. Well, when Skechers are going half price, you buy Skechers. Yeah. Yes, when there's a 50% off sale, you take advantage of it. What else has been going on? We've got one person who keeps flitting in and flitting out. Hello, whoever you are. Yeah, water changes, naps, work, walking Pippa. Howdy, Mark. How you doing? Yes, it's been a nice, uneventful week. Even work was fairly quiet. There was a bit of venting that was done to me about someone else, but we'll gloss over that. I'm always happy to stand there and be the source for people to vent at. Always prefer it when they're not venting about me. Although I'm sure that does happen, probably fairly regularly, even though people go, "Oh no, not you." No. Yes. Ow. Given how dark my sense of humour has been getting this week, yeah, I did kind of break one of my colleagues yesterday slightly. She didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or what. But yeah, that's me making, well, I would say dark, black humour. Black. No, you can't say black jokes, can you? Because that is racist. It's not meant in that way. You got a monster, I've got a relentless, because cheaper. And yeah, having to save a bit of money these days, given the old cost of living crisis. Ow. Yeah, if I keep saying ow, it's because when I was having a trim up of the face fuzz earlier this morning, I use hair clippers. and I wasn't paying enough attention. I managed to hair clip my lip. It's bled rather well. Hello, Linkbot. Hello, Debs, me darling. Yeah. Big huggles. It's kind of getting ridiculous. So I think things are kind of slowing down now with the price of everything going up every week. It seemed at one point. Yeah, I think things are getting more back to normal-ish. The prices will never go back down again, but hopefully they'll stop going up. And obviously now is the time when your electric company sends you emails and letters going, you can get cheaper electric if you lock into a tariff for 2 years. I mean, the prices of electric have started to come back down again. You want me to lock in at a higher price, don't you? Yeah, no, not happening. Yeah, I'll lock in when the prices are low, but I'm not locking in while they're still silly high. Especially in the summer when I'm not using as much at all, anywhere near as much. Oh, and now all the notifications come through. Oh. Ben Ocha bringing a crashed tank back to life. That's do a water change, isn't it? And just carry on as you were. Ooh. Teaser for the new Nightwish song, Perfume of the Timeless. Definitely going to have to watch that in a bit. Oh yeah, Nitrate Killer update. Still got one goldfish, rest are dead, and the last one's not looking good. Oh no. Have you figured it out yet? So I'm wondering if there's parasite or something like that in there. Because for it to get all of them and not have any like outward signs of disease or anything. And yeah, I trust that your water parameters are decent enough because, I mean, let's be honest, goldfish can live in a mud puddle. They live in my pond, so yeah. Right, Sammy boy. Yeah, I'm thinking it's quite probably parasite of some description. Not sure what, but it's not going to be age because I'm guessing they're not that old. Although I did find out with these pseudomagills, because we bought 6 last week, we got 3 now. Again, no signs of anything wrong with them. They just been up and dying. So, well, that's why we put them in quarantine, just in case. But I did find out that, because these are fully grown, that they actually only have a lifespan of a year to 18 months at most. So they might just be old fish that I've got. Can't still, I'll make sure. Yeah, make something negative into a positive. Suspenders or braces, as we call them in the UK, because suspenders is something completely different. Underrated as a way to hold up your pants. They are. People joke about them being for old men, but you know, if you're having to do a belt up fairly tight to hold your pants or trousers up, that's not very comfortable. Whereas if you just got an elastic strap up over your shoulders, that's a lot more comfortable. Well, Australia didn't. Yes, yes. Suspenders are for stockings, exactly, Debs. What are the ones for socks? Are they stockings as well? They do them for men's. Hose is the correct term. Um, well, yeah, but you know, you were talking about your pants. You can wear braces for your pants and suspenders for your stockings underneath. I mean, I'm not going to judge. Not all tropical. Oscars and blue sharks are doing good here. Yay! Yeah, it's, I kind of get the going cold water, temperate, or whatever, because not running the heater saves money on the electric bill. But let's be honest, grand scheme of things, if you boil a kettle once a day, you use more power than the heater in your fish tank is ever going to. Oh yes, Sammy's having a jump to the left and then a step to the right. And he's going to bring his knees in tight. But it's the pelvic thrust that really drives us insane. Uh, um, what do you leave the hospital with if you break a leg? A cast. Yeah, a plaster cast, or these days, depending on the break, it can be just one of the support boots. I think I'd rather have the plaster cast than the boot thing, though. I know the plaster cast weighs more, but it's just there, where the boot thing, the temptation to just take it off will be way too high. No, we don't do braces. We do a cast, and you'll get crutches to walk on. Unless it's really bad, then you might get a chair. Yeah. Braces also for teeth. And anyone at school who had braces instantly got the nickname of tracks because it looked like a railway track running through their mouth. Um, yes. Two countries separated by a common language. But yeah, there is a very good reason why when you're setting up a computer or something, it asks you English or American English. Or in some cases, English simplified with an American flag next to it. So you say suspenders for impact. No, brace for impact. Welcome in Europe. I can't get the song out of my head. Was that a Eurovision one? Because I avoid Eurovision like the plague. Howdy, Craigo. How you doing? G'day. Yeah, flame and galah. And you got a tank to clean. Good, good, good. Give Belle a hug for me and give Doggo a fuss. In whichever order you feel is more appropriate. I reckon in reality, my Belle, I reckon it would probably be the safest option would be fuss Doggo first and then hug Belle. Otherwise, Doggo might go rough and try and have a nibble. Yes, I know the thing is that you always leave the dog till last when you're greeting people. But when it's a fairly sizable dog, that if it does decide it's going to try and injure you with its face, sometimes it's better to say hi to the dog first and then when the dog trusts you a bit, you can then say hello to the humans and it doesn't see you as a threat. And how we get customers come into the shop with their dog, customer gets ignored. It can be like 15 minutes and they're not being served. We're just fussing the dog. But we do get some very cute doggies coming in. Loki the Crow, too wet outside. It's actually dry here today. Lovely, dry and sunny, but not too warm. And it was lovely and cold overnight as well, so I slept quite well. Obviously, I woke up at silly o'clock when the sun decided to come up, but it's only another month and it'll start getting darker again. Yes, way to depress people. It's only another month till the nights start coming in again. Oh, I don't like sunlight. I mean, it does literally start getting light now around 3:30, 4. Went crazy. Yeah, we had the rain on Thursday. It literally rained all day. Went and took Pippa out for a walk about 7:30 in the morning. We got about 10 minutes down the road and it started raining. About another minute later, it started raining a lot harder. So she decided, that's it. I'm taking my dump right here and I'm turning around and going home. I didn't have no choice in the matter of how far she was walking. She was going home. She may only be a Laza, but when she decides she's going in a direction. Howdy, Scotty. How you doing? Hello, Giggler. Mwah. Yeah, there's apparently I'm distracting Sam. I don't know what from. The attractive ladies at the dog park, perhaps. But yeah, I did really want to go for a bike ride on Thursday, but you know, peeing down with rain, and I just watched the bike as well, so I was like, nope, not happening. Because it's going in for a service tomorrow, and I didn't want to have to wash it again. You know how it is. You take something in for a service, and you basically service it before you take it in. So yes, it's been cleaned, lubed, adjusted. I mean, the main reason I'm taking it in is just to check that what I've been doing is right. I'm pretty sure it is. But, you know, there's no actual problems I'm unaware of, like wheel bearings or something on the way out. Do need a new set of brake pads. I know that much, but that's a cheap thing to replace. Still looking for the right tires as well. Because I know the tire I want. It's just finding someone that makes one. Yes, because I'm one of those sad nerds. Because I come from my background of radio control car racing, I know about tires and how they work and what works in what situation and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for a soft compound with a slick center section, a raised slick center section for low rolling resistance and higher speeds, with a slightly treaded section either side of that, but then on the outside a set of knobbly bits. like a mountain bike tyre, just so I can get some grip on the nastier bits I ride on. I don't. The thing is, I don't ride on a lot of nastier bits, so I don't want knobbles all the way across, because that will make things slower on the road and more effort to go at the same speed. So yeah, and then it's finding those in the right size that aren't meant for tubeless. Although you can run tubeless tyres with tubes, you just can't run tube tyres without tubes, because of the way their wheels are designed. If you run a tyre that's designed to be run on a hooked wheel, on a hookless wheel, and you have a sort of, generally a puncture will do it, or a large lateral load, it will pull the tyre off the wheel, which you don't want, because that's going to cause a big crash. But there we go. Bike tyre nerdery. And a lot of the things I see on the ones that it's like X amount of puncture resistance, more puncture resistant than the old one, more puncture resistance than this one. I'm like, I don't care about puncture resistance. I'd rather it had some, don't get me wrong. But to me, fixing a puncture, or just changing an inner tube, because I always have a spare inner tube when I'm cycling further than to work and back. And a pump on the bike. So, changing an inner tube is like 10-15 minutes to fix the flat. Then get home and fix the flat in the inner tube that's got the puncture. It doesn't bother me. So it's not like I'm commuting 10 miles and back to work each day and puncture is going to make me late. And yeah, what I do is I leave home for work with enough time that I could actually walk there if I go to my bike and the tyre's flat. So, you work it out like that, which also means that when I get to work, I've got time to just have a ciggy and get clocked in and just chill, say hello to everyone, that kind of thing, for 10 minutes. Just makes the start of the shift easier. You're not turning up and straight to work. Although turning up and straight to work, it's not like I work hard, really, let's be honest. Yeah. So although that will probably be next month that we get tyres. I did get this. There's an outdoor goods store in the UK called Go Outdoors. It's a big chain, and kind of like Costco, you get a membership, so it costs you £5 a year. You can shop there if you're not a member, but you don't get the member discount, obviously. And I mean, like, the member discount is large. So literally, you've got to buy like two things, even two relatively cheap things, and you'll get your money back on the discount. So, but yeah, I got a 20% off voucher for there. So I was like, oh, that would be a good place to look for tyres. And yeah, they haven't got any I want. So might see they might have some tools that could prove useful, or some lubes or stuff like that. We'll have to go up and have a look, or I just go through the website and see if there's anything I fancy. No, I'm not buying bib bike shorts. Bad enough wearing them under normal clothing, but no, I'm not wearing bibs. Not with my belly. That's really not going to be a good look, or comfortable. I wear my clothes below my waist. Now, not to the point where, like the Yeomans were doing a few years ago, where everything's hanging out. They're so low, they're basically held up by the top of their thighs. Mine held up by my hips, but yeah. If I actually put them around my waist, then my waist measurement gets really big. You know what I mean? Oh, I have lost weight again, so that's always a bonus. Um, down to 13 stone 12, which anyone else could do the maths on how many pounds and kilos that is. 14 pounds of the stone, so probably still up somewhere near 200 pound, but yeah, there we go. Around about 87 kilo, something like that. Anyway, always talk about bikey stuff, and me being a fat beggar is scaring people off. Who'd have thought it? We should know by now that I talk about whatever the heck comes into my head. So it could be fish for 2 hours, it could be random stuff for 2 hours. Yeah. I mean, I admit that of any videos I put up, the bike ones are the least viewed by a long way. But, you know, that's understandable. I'm not a bike channel. So, yeah. And I don't want to go lengthening the channel name to Sharpe's Fish, Phantoms and Bikes, or Fish, Phantoms and Cycling. Maybe just changing it to Sharpe's Stuffs. That might work. Then it'll cover anything that I do. I did kind of think about going, well, I do the fish and I do like the paranormal history type stuff. So Sharpe's Fishtory. And I was like, well, I can't do Fishtory because Alex has already taken that. Yeah, whatever. Things for future thought. But yeah, now the weather is picking up. Mary and I will be getting back out and exploring places again. So there will be more wandering around ye olde churches and stuff like that. And if I remember to do some research, then I can do them on my bike rides as well. Because when I was doing my long bike ride last week, was it last week? Feels like longer ago than that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was some very pretty old churches that I saw on the way. Obviously not within like easy cycling distance. Don't want to be spending the whole day going out on a bike ride just to film a 10-minute video at a church. Especially if it's all locked up and you can't get inside. Yeah, it's. We'll be getting back to that shortly. You know, we just had a really long winter in the UK and really wet. So, and given how Mary is on her feet, we didn't really want to be going wandering around sodden wet graveyards in grass and mud. Chances are she would probably have, well, if she didn't, I probably would have gone base over apex. Yeah, it's all good. We'll see. And yes, backwards baseball cap because washed my hair and conditioned it this morning, so it's gone extra floofy, and it was annoying me. But now the cap's starting to give me a headache, so I'm gonna have to pull the cap off, I think. because I really don't want to be sitting here with a major skull ache going on. So I need a good night's kip. Ooh, there we go. I need a good night's kip because I've got to walk Pippa, get the bike serviced, and then do all the water changes tomorrow. Because I'm back to work on Tuesday. Then I'm off Wednesday. Then I'm back in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yes, Wednesday will be bike ride day this week. And judging by how it's going, I'm going to be riding far more miles than the likes. I'm very tempted to, as part of my bike ride, visit a bike shop in a different town. Never know, they may have the tyres I'm after. You don't know unless you look, because let's be honest, especially this part of the country, not every shop has a website. And if they do, it's generally not a big impressive one. It's normally here is some pictures of our shop, here is a contact number. That's pretty much it. Here is what we generally stock. It probably set up about 20 years ago and hasn't been updated since. So yeah, those kind of websites. Almost as bad as my Instagram, which apparently I've got, and apparently I've got a lot of notifications on Instagram, which is weird because I never post anything on there because I never go on there. Here's where I find out I've randomly got several thousand followers on Instagram. That'd be the way of it, wouldn't it? And the Instagram followers have got no idea that I have a YouTube channel. That's the kind of thing that would happen. So yeah, it might be worth having a look, I guess, at some point. Next time I'm bored and I've got a few hours spare. Oh, and also I've got another World Endurance Champ race to watch. Which one? 6 hours of Spa. So Spa-Francorchamps is a very interesting circuit. Watching hypercars and GT3 cars go around there at silly speeds is going to be fun. Let's see who stuffs it in Eau Rouge this year, or Radion. Out with the dog, stop to get gas, back for the time being. I'll give Doggo a fuss. And while you're getting gas, don't forget to put petrol in the car. Again, same language. Gas short for gasoline, petrol short for petroleum. Diesel, don't know what that's short for. Or where it actually comes from. Might be that the person who invented it or discovered it was called diesel. Talking about helium. You're going to start singing Bee Gees songs, are you? Got a party later and need balloons. I believe you. Thousands wouldn't. That's a point. There's another thing I said at work the other day. That apparently people under a certain age have never heard of. And that is, bumholes twitching like a rabbit's nose. Apparently people have not heard that saying. and I polited it up for YouTube. Yeah, apparently that's not a saying people are familiar with below the age of 40. They thought I just made it up, but I was like, no, it's a saying. It's been around for donkey's years. I never heard it. Right. I'm guessing we've probably watched different movies over the years because I'm pretty sure it came from a movie. That's where I first heard it. Forget which movie it was. Might have been Scum or something like that. Yeah, that was a good film, actually, Scum. Ray Winston's debut. And lots of other people's debuts. A film that was made for and by the BBC, which the BBC banned. Because it was too violent. What do you mean it's too accurate to how it really was in Borstal? And if you don't know, Borstal is probably the equivalent of a juvenile detention centre. Basically, back in the days where the uncontrollable kids got sent, the ones that had committed crimes and were just out of control, they got sent to Borstal and they got straightened out. When I say straightened out, they got abused until they did what they were told to do. But hey, it worked. Funny that you instill discipline in people, they behave better. Oh well, what do I know? I'm no psychologist. I'm not even a psychic. Psychotic, perhaps, but yeah. I've been called worse. People don't say ta-ta anymore. They still do, but it's definitely different parts of the UK will have different things they say. As we said before, literally 20, 30 miles down the road, it could be a completely different accent and dialect. Toodaloo, fare thee well, ta-ra, you right, me duck? Yeah, so sort of like things that you'd call someone. You know, you don't know their name. They're not necessarily a friend. You're just being polite. So you got duck or ducky is generally Northern Midlands area. Butt or gull is Norfolk. And you got me lovely, sausage, darling. There's all these kind of words. It's just a local parlance. They get spoken in whichever area of the country they're in, which can sometimes throw people for a loop if they're not familiar. And I'm guessing some people probably get quite offended these days. Walk into a shop, get served, and get called darling. It's not meant that way. Or yeah. They're not a big fish fan hug to Hamey. Group hug. Where were we? Yeah, it's definitely one of those where I'm going to have to, at some point, do some videos on Norfolk pronunciations, words, accent, dialect. The problem is my Norfolk accent isn't very strong and I'm very bad at putting an accent on. The more tired I get, the more Norfolk I sound. Yeah, unfortunate, I know. And also, if I'm talking to really Norfolk people, then I'll be more Norfolk, but I can't do it on cue. So I'd never be an actor because all my accents would basically be this, or they would sound racist. It's just the way it is. Eureka, Norfolk. Hello, how are you, sir? It's like the English or British greeting conversation. Right, right. It's 2 words spoken, but so much has been said. Just efficiency of speech, which, coming from a nation of people so wordy it's unreal, I think the English language is, I'll be, keep you trashing, gal. Yeah. Well, I suppose the correct answer to Albia will be Armatroshen. Troshing means just keep on keeping on. It's another Norfolkism. And yes, I'm aware that half my face is lit and half of my face is in shadow because the front room light isn't on, but the sun is coming in through the back door. Well, at least with the bright light whiting out my forehead, it's covering up most of the insect bites, which thankfully most are getting healed up now. Specifically the visible ones on like my forehead and my bald patch. Ones on the back of my legs, not quite so much because they get scratched more regularly. Habits I got into as a young child and I've not been able to kick. Like some people bite their nails, I pick at scabs. It's just the way it is. And given some of the habits I've got, it's probably not the worst. It just results in more scars. Oh, you right down there, Bert? Yeah, you okay? Yeah, you guys are getting old as well, aren't you, huh? Yeah. Oh, and it's that time of the month again, is it? That why you've been arguing? Hmm. Well, Spotty's doing some planking. Here we go. Let's ruin the focus on the camera again, shall we? I don't know if Spotty's actually going to sit there while I do this. Oh, no, that is as far as the camera reaches. Yeah, he's just planking on a Anubias leaf. But oh, Bert, with the Limia swarm just swarming everywhere. Anyone else about? Oh, there's Bertie. You could just go. And she's looking quite full again, so we should have baby brittle noses again fairly soon. You might be able to just see on the top of the rock, right in front of Spotty's nose, there is a Java fern that has suddenly decided that we're going to have a Java fern in the tank. No idea where that came from. It's years. Yeah, that's what I call a belly full of eggs. Come on, look, let's get you out of the reflection. There you go. Whee! Donk. Anyone else visible? So we got algified again, but the Shelly Dwellies are doing Shelly Dwelly things. Ooh. Oh, don't hide. Might just be able to see them there. The Amicus splendens, which are the females are definitely pregnant. The 3 remaining pseudomcgills, and then just bristlenose central. Roof. And ooh, camera stayed in focus. Wow. Yeah, little shrimp tank still shrimping along. Still, whenever I say every week when I clean out the filters in the other tanks that have got shrimp in, any shrimp I find in the water change water, because yes, there's always a few that are in amongst the filter sponges. They go into that little tank over there, and some make it. So yeah, we're getting a fairly decent little colony in there now. He's got to open, start breeding. And once that happens, the numbers will go crazy. Then we'll have 3 colonies of shrimp of all sorts of random colours and types. Yeah, I really should have started culling them years ago and getting rid of the wild types, but the wild types I find more interesting to look at because of the patterns. They're not just red or yellow or blue or black or green or orange or red and white or blue and white. As I've had a couple red, white, and green. There was a young streamer called John who couldn't decide where exactly he'd gone wrong. Counted his pedals, which came to more than his medals, and decided the live stream was on. Very good, Danny boy. Oh, Danny boy, he is a poet. How you doing, bud? Hope all is well with you. And Mrs. DKF, and the fry, and the fish, and the shrimps, and the putty cat, and that you've not put a fork through the broadband line anymore. Actually, that was one of the other things I did this week, was I sorted out my pots in the back garden. Not for courgettes, don't worry, we're not growing them again at the moment. Mostly for herbs. That's herbs with an H. And again, not for me not to put in my food because I can't taste them. They're not strong enough usually. We're struggling through the 18-degree heat. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the 18 degrees compared to what we have had. It's been a lot nicer this week than it was last week, the week I was off, when it was like 23, 24. I know it's not warm, but not warm, but it came out of nowhere. We've had months where it's been 10, 12, 13, and the temperature basically in 2 days doubled. Courgettes are planted and sprouting, and I've got some seeds So by the end of December 25, so they're still good. How many we got? Yeah, there's a good few in there. Yeah, might have a go. Might give them a go. See how I feel. The trick is to make sure you keep the slugs and snails off of them. And the pigeons, because I think that's what happened to most of them last year. Is the pigeons ate them, and I don't mean they ate the courgettes. I mean they ate the plants, because they all sprouted. I had lovely little courgette plants, and then basically as soon as I took the mini cloches off, I had no courgette plants. The next day, they'd all gone. Well, yeah. So pigeons or doves had eaten them basically. But they're not dumb. They don't eat the herbs, because basically if a pigeon or something is eating herbs, it's just pre-seasoning itself, really, isn't it? Not got slugs and snails. Haggis eat them all. Yeah, we ain't got no haggis down here, unfortunately. And given how overgrown my garden is, there's lots of slugs and snails out there. And there shouldn't be, because the amount of frogs out there, they should eat the slugs. But yeah, oh yeah, we got lots of frogs again this year. Looks like the goldfish didn't get to eat them all. So yay! There's the parasailing Wonder Woman. Oh, Debs is definitely Wonder Woman. I'm not. No, technically Super Gran, but Super Gran's not with us anymore. So there is a vacancy. If you weren't aware, Super Gran passed last week. Children's TV character from the early 80s, early mid 80s, something like that. Thing is, she looked ancient back then. So, and she was, yeah. Was she Danish or something? Because it wasn't an English name she had, was it? It was Gudrun something or other. I think it might have been Danish. Something Scandinavia area, anyway. Landed on the face rather than dodgy knee. Yeah, you got to make sure you land on the bits that aren't going to hurt as much. Well, if I'm going to fall off or something, I'm going to try and land on my belly, because that's the bit with the most padding. I've landed on my butt before, and yeah, I've broken my coccyx. That's not good. Yeah. But believe it or not, there are bones I haven't actually broken. I think I may have done it, just not realised it. I'll bounce back up and never land. Oh, yeah, cheeky beggar. Just because I'm not as aerodynamic as you. Although I'm not far off. It's just what's left is long, so it covers up most of the bald patches. I mean, let's be honest, that's not a forehead, is it? That's at least a 5, if not a 6 head now. And And when it is all gone on the top, I will have to do something else, because a scullet is just tragic. I was actually having that discussion about being more rotund than the average cyclist with a cyclist the other day, as they were talking about, aerodynamic bike. How this bike is more aerodynamic than that one. And I'm like, well, cross-sectionally, the bike is tiny compared to the person sitting on it. So the person will have far more of an effect on the aerodynamics of the bike and its aerodynamic efficiency than the bike itself. You could be riding a rally chopper and you probably wouldn't be that much less aerodynamically efficient than riding a modern superbike. And they were like, oh, yeah, but in that case, I'm more aerodynamic than you because I'm round. You got a flat stomach, I've got a round stomach. Round is more aerodynamic than flat. Yeah, that didn't go down well. But you can't win these arguments with. It is, I've noticed, the road cyclists who have expensive bikes, power meters, and all that kind of stuff. They're just riding for riding to keep fit and whatever, but they have to, have the best thing. Yeah, but if I get this, then it'll save me this many watts and I'll be this much faster for the same power output. Blah, blah. What, are you actually training for the Tour de France? Or are you just out riding with your mates? Just out riding with my mates. Why are you worried about that then? If you ride a slower, heavier, less efficient bike, you will get more fitter than by riding a lighter, more efficient bike. Right, so get yourself a heavy, old, inefficient, sit up and beg, shopping type bike, hybrid or whatever, like I've got, and ride that. Then when you get on your super light carbon aerodynamic race bike, you will go a lot faster. I am still tempted to try out a road bike or bike with drop bars, as they call them. Just see if I can. So I've got a funny feeling it's either going to be really uncomfortable or just slightly uncomfortable. Because I've not ridden one since like the 90s. And that was only borrowing someone's because mine had a puncture. My bike had a flat tire, I think, or buckled wheel. Yeah, I buckled the wheel, so I had to borrow someone else's bike to bike into town to get a wheel so I could bike home and change the wheel on my bike because I couldn't ride it with the wheel that buckled. We're not just talking that the brakes were catching, we were talking it was S-shaped, sort of riding along. Yeah, you can't ride a bike like that, even with the rear brake disconnected, because yes, it was the back wheel. Then I changed the wheel, like, yay, I can ride my bike again, I can go do stuffs again. And I rode down the driveway, the dog ran out in front of me, I binned the bike and buckled the new rear wheel. Only very slightly, thankfully. How are the forktails getting on? Not well. To be blunt. Out of the 6, I have 3 left. I've lost 1 male and 2 females. No idea why. Water test's fine. Nitrates are like 20. No ammonia. No sign of any disease or parasites or anything nasty going on. They just go from happily swimming around, fine, feeding, being normal fish, to, oh, there's another one. So, not sure. They might just be old because they only live apparently for a year to 18 months. And because they are full grown. Could be they're old. Could be that wherever they came from originally, they were bred and raised in RO water. So the hardness of my water and the place I got them from's water. Yeah, they might not like that, but we'll see. We'll leave them in quarantine for another couple of weeks and see how they do. If they do all end up biting the bullet, then I won't get any more of them. It's quite simple. I'll just go back to plan A and get some cherry barbs instead. Yeah, so it might be the hardness. Yeah, so where is it they come from? Oh, I can't remember where it is in the wild, but it's going to be somewhere that's soft. So yeah. Thankfully, Deb's face didn't touch the ground, just a grazed knee lowered you gently to the ground. It's always better when a man lowers a woman gently to the ground. Get some Savlon or Sudocrem on your knee, and don't pick the scabs. The last thing you want is scars on your lovely legs. You won't be able to wear a mini skirt again if you do. Yeah, Papua New Guinea, that's the one. Just the one in. And UA rather than AU, but yeah, close enough for me to understand it. Yeah, that's the one, Papua New Guinea. Yeah, so they're going to be a soft water fish, aren't they? So yeah, it's I'll see how they go. If they keep kicking the bucket, then I'll say I won't get more. It's that simple. I'll go for something a little hardier, like I'll say cherry barbs probably. They're a barb. They're very pretty. Closer than Deb's chin to a landing spot. Ooh. Ooh. But yeah, it's not called doing a Sharpie when you're parasailing and you graze your knee. That's called a result. I'm going to keep putting that out there, pulling a Sharpie, until I actually hear someone else say it. Oh, something very sweet happened at work this week. We had a young lad come in with his dad, and let's put it this way: I'm kind of known in the area for being the RC car guy. But I wasn't in when they came in, so wrote me out a little letter asking if I'd be so kind and nice as to look at and maybe fix his radio control car for him. So yeah, if you hear the phrase pulling a Sharpie, leave the club immediately. I wouldn't be a member of any club that would have me as a member. Yeah. Oh man, what happened to you? Oh, geez, I pulled a Sharpie. Started with 12 cherry bars, got 4 females left, no signs of anything wrong. This is it with fish. When we buy them, we don't know where they've come from, what water they've been bred or kept in, what the shipping was like, all that. I wouldn't be a member of a club that had me have you as a member. Exactly. This is why I'm not in any clubs, because if they want me, I don't want to be there. Yeah, that's, again, and the thing we got to remember is the majority of the fish we keep are tiny. Yeah, they're very, very small. And so it doesn't take a huge amount to go wrong with a tiny, tiny fishy for it to be fatal. And they're bred in their millions. So, and the reason they reproduce so rapidly and voraciously is because a lot of them don't make it. So, yeah. Maybe if I can find something that's locally bred, but I think the only other person really that's breeding locally is breeding angelfish, and yeah, don't really want angels. Well, the Amica splendens were locally bred as well, but they're a hard water fish, so yeah. Live bearers tend to do quite well in my water. Right, before I go any further, I'll be back in a minute. Got to go and drain the vein. Oh, good. Out, crunch, crack. Yes, old man noises standing up. Right, there we go. That's better. Good for another hour. Oh. Feeding flake and micro pellets. They're getting crazy. They're eating the food, not a problem. Me stand up sounds like Deb's paragliding through a beach on deck chairs. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm old. I tend to make cracking noises quite a lot of the time. Joints that really shouldn't crack. Although Mary did hear my back crack earlier, that she didn't like that. I stretched and basically went all the way up my spine. So Yeah, it's all right. It's just cracking. Lost one of Arnold's betters. Had to put it down to stress of shipping. Wasn't happy when she arrived. Oh, that's a shame. The other one's turning into a stunner. Wow. So, yeah, and this is it. And especially, I mean, something like betters, especially, which is so massively inbred and overbred and inbred again to get the various different types that we want. Um, a clue into that is to, if you look at the natural wild version of a fish, I mean, even something like a guppy, you look at what a wild guppy looks like, it looks absolutely nothing like a fancy guppy, um, or the muck guppies, as I call them. I may have upset Jess again the other day. She posted up some pictures of her guppies, and I was like, "Oh, lovely mutts." Or spaz snacks. It's, yeah, as we all know, that's where my guppies all went. I went into a Bisha, Bishir, or Biker, or Bicker, or whatever the heck people want to pronounce it as. Dino fish. That's a sensible one. So if I was going to go betters though, now say it right, it's embellis, isn't it? Better embellis are the least fightingest fighting fish. They're kind of friendly and like being in groups. I might try some of them if I can find some, but again, I think they're soft water and probably wouldn't do too well in my water. And yes, my brain every time I go to say embellis, I want to call them better imbecile or imbellend, one or the other. Um, I'm guessing imbellis because bellissimo would be Latin or Italian for pretty. So don't know what the im stands for, but might be very pretty better. That's a good name for him. Yeah, that's. Yes, I know I've got electric blue Acara and I've got super red and sunshine bristle noses. And have I got anything else weird? Not really. But the longer I keep fish, the more I find myself preferring the natural version, as it were, the less showy, gaudy versions of fish. Um, I would love some bronzicara, but I haven't got a tank that I could keep just bronzicara in because they are far more cichlidy than electric blue Acara. In other words, they will murder all their tank mates. Um, and they're definite soft water fish. But then so are the electric blue Acara, and I've had these guys for nearly 6 years now, and the only reason that Donkey died was because brain damage. Um, just kept whacking his head on the things, and eventually whacked it once too often, I think. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'll figure something out. But it's having the black water, softer water tank is a lot trickier when it comes to things like water changes because I do have to use magical butt water, which not hugely tricky because the water butt is just outside, but yeah, it's a lot more hassle than just filling the bucket up from the tap. Because even if I'm cutting it half and half, I've still got to run the butt water through a filter and hopefully get any particulates and contaminants out of it, but leave all the tannins in. Yeah, I'm weird, I know. Apparently the Daphnia have all disappeared out of that tank now, though. I'm guessing they've all been eaten. Whether that was the clown plecos or the Nanacara remains to be seen. Might possibly have been Ember. You know, that sole remaining Ember tetra that I've had for years as well. It's weird how that happens. You buy a group of fish and they just gradually die off one by one, and you end up with one left that just keeps going and going and going and going, and you're like, geez. It's tempted to get some friends, but I'm wondering if the reason that one survived is because it doesn't like hanging out with other Ember tetras. Oh, we do have some baby cories trundling around in there as well somehow. Somehow the eggs didn't get eaten. I've seen a couple. I think there's more than that, but yeah. Some bubby cories trundling about quite happily. So, what's the plans for this week? Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to figure out a video for this week, because if I just keep putting up cycling stuff, no one's going to watch. So, yeah, we'll have to figure something else out, I think. Well, I don't think I'm really going to be going anywhere to film anything interesting or paranormally or history. Might have to just randomly figure out a fishy video. Actually, I've still not done a unboxing reviewy thing of the air pump, so we might do that. That'd be a nice easy one to do. This air pumps air. It's quiet. Pretty much all you really need to know about an air pump, isn't it? But you know me, I can waffle that out into 10-15 minutes quite easily. Then someone else will buy one because they'll see my video. Then I'll do a video on it. It'll be much more professional, much better shot, and it will get about 3,000 times the views. But there we go. No idea why my computer keeps putting up the IR loading little blue circle by the cursor. Probably updating in the background, despite me telling it not to update when I'm using it. Which just means when I turn the pooter off, it won't turn off. It'll go, I need to do this update. But you've been doing it the last 2 hours, despite me telling you not to. Not that I should grumble too much, because where HMS Craptop was grinding to a halt, suddenly appears to have picked up speed again. So I'm not complaining. Itchy schnoz. What are you up to, Bert? Oh, Ernie's out as well. And there goes the chase. Yeah, that's electric blue acaras being aggressive to each other. I'm going to chase you half-heartedly for 6 inches, and that's about it. They used to do the lip locking when they were younger, but I think they just decided they're too old for that now, and they just do a very, very slight chase like that, and that's it. That's as aggressive as it gets. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should stop looking at fish that I can breed and just get fish that are pretty that I like. That might be a better way to go. But then the more I can breed, the more money I can make. Although, let's be honest, I'm not going to get cherry barbs breeding. Not in a tank with crebensis and bristlenoses, because they will both eat the eggs. Especially a tank that isn't exactly well planted and doesn't have any ground cover, because, yeah, bristlenoses. Any moss or anything just gets destroyed. Yeah, I might have to try a bit of moss in there and see what happens. Same as I think tomorrow I'll stick a breeding mop in with the remaining pseudomagills, just in case. So where is everyone of late? Or have I just upset everyone in the fish farm and they don't want to watch me anymore? It's probably the case. Wouldn't surprise me. But hey. Oh, need another drink. Yeah. Yeah, so I've no idea what I might replace Bert and Ernie with it when they pass. I don't know, I could say, well, I could get another bunch of electric blue acaras and hopefully get a female, not 3 males. Maybe do breedy, but again, electric blue acaras, well, they used to be really quite expensive when I got them. They're not anymore because everyone got them and everyone bred them, and now they're cheaping. Yeah. Something to turn up. I mean, I only say that because I've noticed that Bert and Ernie have been sleeping a lot more lately. They've been a lot less active. Mufti! Hello, fishy folks. How you doing, John? Have you found your shoes yet? Hope all is going well for thou. I've been quite in a few streams lately. Yeah, it might just be the time of year then that it's getting warmer and sunnier out, and people are actually going out and doing stuffs. Probably what it is, really. Let's be honest. It's kind of seasonal. There was a young streamer called Sharpe. That's wrong for a start. Who, in fact, was his own one-man army. He had a battery of tanks all lined up in ranks, but sicklers are incredibly dafty. Well, electric blue acara are. Let's be honest, they're not the brightest of fish. They're pretty derpy, to be honest, at the best of times. and when they get old, they get really dumb. Yeah, what's something that's kind of electric blue Acara size, relatively community friendly, or just friendly, that would do well in a relatively hard water planted tank? That's a good thought. Thought for the day. I'm not entirely sure how long Happy Car has lived for. I mean, it might be 8 or 9 years, but so I think they're around about 6 now, getting on for. Must be. I wonder if I've still got the receipt for the tank. I don't think so. I'd have to be derpy. I don't know, bloody auto carrot. Rainbow cichlids. Yeah, I have to look those up. I know the name, but I'm not overly familiar with the fish. Butterfly cichlids are another one, because they did well when I had them. But again, I had bought a trio and got 3 males. Seems to be the story of my life. Yeah, you know, something like that that's showy and kind of chunky, but not big. That's not going to try eating all the limia and whatever. Although it might be an idea to get the limia numbers down a bit. Just an extra something that's pretty and will do breedies. I'm going to have to Google this now, aren't I? Oh dear. Let me grab me tab. Grablet the tablet. Ugh. Let's have a Google. Rainbow cichlid. Is this going to be one of these ones where I know the fish and the scientific name, not the common name? Tilapia multispinosa. Get up to 6 inches. Yellow, hints of reds and browns. Blah blah blah. What size tank does a rainbow cichlid need? 20. That's an epistogramma, not a. What are best tank mates for rainbow cichlids? Medium to large tetras, barbs, rainbow fish or live bearers. Catfish may be included, but some territoriality during breeding. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah. Tilapia multispinosa. They are very pretty. That's a definite maybe then. Obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves because Bert and Ernie are still with us. Although I suspect the tank could take a couple more cichlids. He says, famous last words. We all know what happened the last time I put another lot of cichlids in that tank. All hell broke loose. But then they were dual cichlids, which we then found out to be very aggressive fish. You know, kept rainbows with EVA fine. Oh, cool. Something to look out for. Not something I've. Although it might be something that you see and it's just got the Latin name and use I see the word tilapia and I'm going instantly go, yeah, that's going to get big. Going to be big and aggressive. Slightly bigger tank, still maybe fine. Yeah, we know how Sharpe and stocking levels works. No, let's be honest. Is that 1 inch per gallon? Not even centimetre per litre. It's and I don't even want to know how many fish are in there. So you've got 2 full-grown adult bristlenoses, 2 full-grown adult EBAs, about 20 corridoras. And yeah, probably a couple of hundred limia. One never got as big as the EBA and like the keyhole cichlids in terms of temperament. Cool. I see. Yeah, it's like I expect a little bit of aggression when fish are breedy and they've got babies or eggs. That kind of aggression isn't a problem to me. That's just fish doing what they should do, what you want them to do, protect their offspring. It's fish that are just aggressive for being aggressive's sake. I don't like. We don't have no time for that. Say rainbows or keyholes or butterflies. The butterflies are very pretty, I've got to say. They're mostly kind of a dull silver with the black stripes. A few black stripes, and they got all the little blue spangles all over them. They're very pretty. And they were super chill as well because, well, they had to be because there was a colony of shrimp in that tank that I knew nothing about. Until one day I saw a red cherry shrimp. I was like, where the hell did that come from? And then I spotted another one and another one. I was like, oh, there's a few in there. That's okay, not a problem. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? And then when I broke the tank down, because I was going to turn it into a shelly tank, that's when I found bloody hundreds of cherry shrimp in there. Like, literally, pick up a rock and there's just like 100 cherry shrimp underneath it. It's like, oh, right. Yeah, but then I say, even if there were any hiding out in the back in the filter or whatever, yeah, shrimp ain't going to survive in a shelly tank. All the rituals are over, and now I don't have any hair, beard, or mustache. Oh dear. Oh dear. Time to grow it back very quickly. Either that or time to buy some scalp wax and polish your head. Glad I don't have to do it. Yeah, rules for death of a parent. Yeah. Glad we haven't got any of that because, mind you, not that I'd worry about it if one of my parents died. Although, given how things are going, I'm not going to be getting any money off them when they do. I'm not going to be getting an inheritance, let's put it that way. Yes, they've divorced, which instantly splits everything in half, and then they've had to buy new houses, and yeah, so I'm either going to inherit houses in Wales that I don't want, or nothing. Although if I did inherit a couple of houses, I'd soon sell them off, I'm sure. Yeah, just be a case of phone a random estate agent locally and go, yeah, I've just inherited these houses. Can you stick them on the market for us? I have no idea what they look like or where they are, but can you just get rid of them? Finally, I can eat properly from tomorrow. I hate the rules on food. Eat once a day and oh dear. I need to be fair. I do tend to just eat one meal a day most days. It's a fairly large meal, but yeah. Person called Debs, what a lady, decided to do something crazy. She went up in the air, and while she was there, figured she'd land with panache and do it gracefully. Have you got a limerick app by any chance, Dan? Or are you just feeling mightily poetic today? Or are you on ChatGPT or something? And you just go, make me up a lyric about this, or a limerick about this, and it does. Have I just seen through your plan? Or are you just very good at limericks? There was a young lady from Ealing who had a peculiar feeling. She laid on her back, pulled open a crack, and peed all over the ceiling. Just feeling silly. It's the plus 10-degree heat getting to me. That is just plain boiled rice with ghee. Or, yeah, so from white salt. Boiled rice with ghee doesn't sound too bad with a bit of salt in it, but yeah, after a couple of meals, that would get very boring. And yes, I know what ghee is, clarified butter. Yeah. Yeah, I know, so I'd quite happily eat that, but yeah, after a couple, yeah, eating that for 14 days once a day, yeah, that's going to get boring after about 2 days. So, well done for managing it. I've got to admit, even if I was trying to do that, I would have to sneak something in somewhere without anyone knowing. It'd probably be some blue cheese and a pork pie. And even if I do have rice, I'll chuck some cheese in it. It's usually some mayonnaise as well. It's like if I'm just doing like a pouch of microwave rice, stick it in a bowl just for a supper snack or something. Then yeah, that's generally what I do. The pouch of microwave rice, small tin of tuna, dice up some cheese, chuck some salt in there, scorch a bunch of mayonnaise in there, mix it all up. It's actually really, really delicious. Next meal is going to be my love, biryani and mutton. I'll eat a few goats myself. Well, goats are evil. Don't trust anything that's got rectangular pupils. that's what I say. Yeah, and mutton anyway is old. It's not like you're eating baby ones. You're eating the old chewy ones that you need to cook for 12 hours before the meat is edible. Wait, my oldest humidifier puts cheese in rice. I thought it was uniquely odd. There's two of you? Yeah, you got to give it a go, Dan. Cheese and rice work really well together. Especially because the cheese gets all nice and melty as well in amongst the rice. The other one like that I do is what I call like chunks of cheddar. Like dice up some cheddar and chuck that in there. But yeah, rice with cheese sauce, that'd work well as well. Yeah, because rice is just a basic carbohydrate. So chips and cheese. Yeah, I bet you, Dan, you've had chips and cheese, haven't you? And in my head, right, and this probably doesn't make sense to anyone else, but every part of the world, every culture has its basic carbohydrate, whether that be potatoes, rice, pasta, noodles. You got to try it, Ricky. It really does work well. Good strong cheddar, little cubes, and then mix it all up and yum. But yeah, so every like culture area part of the world has its own basic carbohydrate, whatever it happens to be. And I just treat them all the same. So if you'd have, say, potatoes with gravy, why not have rice with gravy? Why not have noodles or spaghetti pasta with gravy? It works. You have chips and cheese. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So why not have it with rice? Or you definitely have cheese with pasta, because if you don't have cheese with it, you've got to have tomato. Oh, and pizza is cheese and tomato toasty. Sometimes you'll add other stuff on there, but yeah, that's all a pizza is. It's an open. It's like a Welsh rarebit or cheese on toast. When I have fermented potato juice now, you'd do well in the Russian army. Whereas British tanks all have I forget what they actually call it, but it's basically they all have a kettle. Right? They have tea making facilities in all the tanks. And I put tomato through egg mayonnaise as a treat. No, but I can't stand tomato. Um, Tomato ketchup in scrambled eggs works really well though. If you can get over the colour they go, because they basically look like bloody brains. So British tanks all have a tea making facility in them. Basically, they have it boils what. Basically, they have a tea urn in the turret. Uh, but all Russian tanks have a vodka still in them. Wants to put in ketchup with eggs. Yeah, well, this is what happens when you haven't got a sense of smell. You don't get much sense of taste either. Moving back, pot slop, right? This is going to turn everyone's stomach, I can guarantee. So it's a tin of not Campbell's meatballs with gravy, because the Campbell's meatballs with gravy is pretty nasty. The little one is far superior. Only two places ketchup belongs in the fridge. Oh, no, not in the fridge. Just keep it by your chair, because then you can use it on anything, or a bacon sandwich. Um, what about when you've got a Cornish pasty or against the slice? Do you not like just bite the end off the Cornish pasty and squirt some ketchup in there, or mayo or brown sauce or something? Nom, nom, nom. But yeah, so pot slop. You take the can of meatballs in gravy, and you nuke that in the microwave. It's 3 minutes, so you do it for 2 minutes. And while that's doing, you boil the kettle and make some gravy. Just gravy granules, nothing posh. Then for the last minute of the cooking time of the meatballs, you add the gravy, extra gravy into them. Once that's done, you take it out of the microwave, you stick your pouch of microwave rice in. While that's cooking, you dice up some cheese, chuck that in the meatballs, chuck the rice on the top, stir it all up, and you basically get a litre Pyrex bowl full of meatballs, gravy, rice, and cheese. And it's delicious. Oh, brown sauce is good. More baby gliders, or are you going to call one of? You got to call one of them Debs. Eggy bread and Branson pickle. Yeah, that does sound good. That does sound really good. Um, Cheese and Marmite sandwich, also good. Because the richness of the sharpness of the Marmite cuts through the richness of the cheese. Oh, soon I'll have a century of gliders. Awesome. Lots of sugar and gliding. But yeah, gotta call one Debs. Debs the sugar glider. Marmite and salad cream. Yeah, I can see that working as well. Problem is, I'm not going to try it. A, because I don't have salad cream at the moment, and B, because my belly's been not the best lately, so we're trying to keep things a bit blander. Well, I did come up with a good one earlier, because Mary bought me 2 cakes for my birthday, and we were having one of them earlier. Well, served 8, so we had a quarter of it each. It was a salted caramel cake. Mwah. But the only real thing that makes it salted caramel cake is that there's some salted caramel drizzled on the top with the buttercream. And I thought, now, what if you had a coffee and walnut cake? So you got a coffee cake with the buttercream because it's a sandwich, and buttercream on the top. So it's a coffee cake with the buttercream, the salted caramel, and the walnuts. Oh, that'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Or possibly a death by chocolate that's also got salted caramel on it. Picking up new bird stuff for tomorrow. Bird prices have suddenly gone down abnormally low, so I started collecting them now. Cool. Bird prices are still very high over here, but that's mostly glaze over owl cake earlier. Yeah, that's just they say serves 8, but they're not that big. That's a single serving cake. Mary's is lucky I shared it. And no, I didn't cut her out a tiny little slice and eat the rest myself. Actually, I think we had about a third of it each. I'll finish the rest off later. Yeah, because around this area, the avian flu came in again. So there's been restrictions on bird movements. Obviously, not wild ones, but yeah. There's a whole load of turkeys had to be culled, a whole load of chickens and some ducks and all sorts. Crimson belly conyers, I know what they are, were 70,000 rupee and now 17,000. My guess is either lots of them have been bred and not many people want them, or the cost of living thing is kind of worldwide, I think, at the moment. And people just can't afford the exotics or the luxuries at the moment. So, yeah, parrot fever, bird flu is coming soon. Yeah. Yeah, I think what a lot of it is that this is happening with the bike brands as well. It's like, oh no, the bike industry is dying. Yeah, actually, no, it's not. What's happening is that the sales of the really expensive ones and the brands that just sell the really expensive bikes, they're really struggling. The people who just sell bikey bikes, they're doing absolutely fine. But yeah, it's like when there's not a lot of spare cash around, the luxury items are the things you don't buy, which then tends to drive the prices of the luxury items down. People bred birds like crazy here during COVID. Yeah, that's probably what it is. They started out with a pair, they bred them, sold some, bred more, sold some, and then ended up with a flock, and now they've got bloody hundreds of them, and they're trying to get rid of them cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. Yes, I know, conures don't cheap. Collecting as much as I can now, because when prices go high, I'll start selling. Yes. Like the good little capitalist you are. Yeah. Reminds me of that. Actually, reminds me of a conversation or argument I was having with someone years ago. He was putting his money into gold and silver because gold and silver is a sensible thing to invest in, and that has both have gone up in value ridiculous amounts recently. But he was going, yeah, because if there's like a world-ending like catastrophe happens, then gold and silver will be really, really good things to. I'm like, no, people won't be wanting gold and silver if like Armageddon has happened, some worldwide catastrophe. It's like, yeah, because gold, no, they'll want things like steel to make knives from, coal to make fires, that kind of thing. Sales of hobby industry are plummeting after COVID had them shooting up. Yeah, that's what the bike industry in particular, and I don't think scale modelling got hit. But yeah, aquariums, because let's be honest, COVID, lockdown, everyone got bored. They took up new hobbies. Then lockdown ended and they had to get back to what they were doing before, like going to work, and didn't necessarily have time for the hobbies. So then the marketplace got flooded with all the second-hand ones that people are trying to sell for way too much money. And then, yeah, they don't sell, and it just clogs the marketplace up with people trying to sell stuff for way more than it's worth. When you see people trying to sell a Fluval Flex for what you can get one for new, but they're saying it's got the gravel and it's got the clown peak gravel, the fake plants, the SpongeBob house, a heater, half a tub of cheap and nasty flake food, normally the Love Fish brand. Got that, and they add that to the value of what they're selling. No, because all the stuff that's in the tank is going to go into the bin. It's zero value to anybody. So it's just the tank and the heater. Well, the tank's 150 quid. Let's call the heater another 30, which brings you up to 180. So you should be looking for about 90 quid second hand if it's in really good condition, which, let's be honest, none of them are. A good time to buy second-hand instruments, yes. And it's always good to buy a second-hand instrument because brand new instruments have a settling in period. It's once they've been played a bit and been used a bit and got hot and cold and whatever, and everything settles in, that they start sounding better. Grey parrots costed 25k rupee a piece in 2019. Now they're over 150 a piece. Held back 46 pairs. Now I sell the chicks. Same ones go crazy high. Oh yeah, they do. And the thing is, you're selling grey parrots. Yeah, and they're probably going to outlive the people that bought them. Parrots, turtles, tortoises, all these kind of things, that the pets that you'd have to put in your will, that and find someone else to look after them when you die because they're going to outlive you. That's not the kind of pet I want to get. Although I'm fairly sure that tortoises in the UK live for a year. That's it. Because let's be honest, everyone puts them into the shoebox or whatever with some straw to hibernate over winter, somewhere in the garage or a shed. Then when they go to get them out in the next spring, there's just a rotten, stinky shell in there. But they can't have the kiddies being upset that Snuffly the turtle died, tortoise, so they have to buy a new one. But yeah, they live for a year. Want to buy my tank? Not sure how big it is. It's got pink gravel, one of the fish that sucks all the algae off the glass, and a big biker fish that ate all the others. Half of temperature tanks. Yeah, that's the kind of advert. Lots and lots of my animals are going in the will. That's why I say I don't know if I leave any money behind. I sure leave a ton for ton of liability. Yeah, well, you can leave your money to go towards looking after the animals. There you go. Leave people the animals, and then the money to look after the animals. Just stipulate that the money has to be used to look after the animal. I'm not sure how well that would go. Yeah, people would probably be peeing on your grave, but it'd be worth it just for the lols. Making NPC fund the animals. Exactly. BFC. Yeah, those are definitely the kind of adverts that you see on Facebook for fish tanks. Yeah. And some of them will have had filter improvements, which usually means they've chopped a massive hole in the lid and it looks absolutely horrific because they fitted a massive fluval canister on a tiny little tank, and then they wonder why their better died because it got stuck to the intake and couldn't get off. You can need a 407 on that, mate. It's a 15-gallon shell dweller tank. Oh, yeah, because you need all the media for the nitrates. What? Just make the sand deep enough and that'll sort the nitrates out. Well, then the algae grows as well. Considering there's no plants in that tank, it does literally run at basically zero nitrates. Dad's gone, brother and I have 20% each. Rest is with mum, happy with my 20%. Yeah, exactly. To me, that seems fair. And then, I say, Touchwood is a long time away yet, but then when your mother passes, you'll probably each get a chunk of that, and then your children will get a chunk as well. So it's the way things are. It gradually moves down until you find that person in the family that gets it and then just blows all the money and then wonders why everyone's broke from then on. That's why rich people in the UK, like the landed gentry, is why they stay rich, because they don't spend the money. Yes, they might be driving around in a Range Rover, but it's a 20-year-old Range Rover. And they might be wearing a very posh barber jacket and boots and whatever. But there's a reason they bought those. It's because, yes, they're expensive, but they will last for bloody donkey's years. You see, if you've got the money to buy the expensive version, which will last a lot longer, then you save money in the long run because you don't have to keep replacing it. And if you haven't got the money, you have to keep buying the cheap one and replacing it every so often because, yeah. That's obituaries on those issues on all the national and regional newspapers, front page today. All the new channels edit live. Wow. We are honoured. So that must be nice. I doubt I'd make the bottom of page 28 of the paper. It's been tiny little print. Sharpie died. Anyway, I will leave you with the joke I pulled yesterday at work, completely off the top of my head, no forethought or prejudgment in it, that broke my colleague. I got a slight bruise from carrying a box in the crook of my elbow. My colleague saw this and says, "Oh, is that track marks?" As a joke. No, no, the only track marks I'll ever have are from where I jumped out in front of the train. Apparently that was a bit too dark. But anyway, thanks to everyone for showing up. Have a good week. Enjoy some good food, Ricky. Stay safe, everyone. Peace out. Enjoy your hobbies. Love your family and your pets. Rock on. Bye-bye. Hi, Homer. Bye, Homer. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Dan's a poet.